Hi there. Just want to let you know I'm a sister in the truth. My name is Kim Lawrence. I am a molecular biologist by trade, and what that is a scientist that works with DNA, RNA, and proteins. And I am a graduate of Mayo Medical Graduate School. And so I've been medically trained. And I want to tell you that when I was going to Mayo Medical School, um, well, I met many interesting people. Um, but one of the persons actually had thought he found a cure for cancer. And we were all excited to hear about his research. And what he had done was he had taken these mice that had no immune systems and he would transplant human tumors into the mice. So any kind of tumor you can imagine. It could have been like from the heart or the kidney or the lungs or the liver, all different kinds of cancers. And these mice, because they had no immune system, would allow these human tumors to grow inside them. And of course, they become sick, like humans would become sick, but they would give them this drug and all of the tumors were mitigated basically. So the mice went into remission and didn't have the cancer anymore, and they were able to live out the rest of their lives, the normal lifespan, without being sick. So it was very promising. And so what do you do when you have results like this? Well, you go to get them published and then you ask for more funding so you can go into higher animals. And unfortunately, what happened was they told him, he was a physician, if you continue this research, we will pull your medical license away. So he told us he had two options. Well, he probably had more than two, but the two options he told us that he had was he could move to a foreign country and continue his work there, or he could stay here and continue his work as a physician, which, he didn't want to let that go. And we can understand how that might be. And I've never heard anything more about that. So I don't think he shared it with people in other countries that could have continued his work. But unfortunately, that's what our medical system is. So literally, the FDA was formed to keep the people here in America, in the US, safe. However, they got into cahoots with the drug companies and they started making money from the drugs that they were allowing to happen to, you know. And what I think is almost sickening is that there are drugs that are being prescribed to many people that they know only help 3% of the people that that they prescribe to. So it's all about making money. And I don't call what we have a healthcare system. I call it a sick care system because it wants to keep us sick so they can keep making money. All right. So because of that, I decided not to go into working with patients as I had originally planned on doing. And I wound up working in research, and I enjoyed the research that I've done. I've worked on cancer, I've worked on AIDS, I've worked on many different things. But my claim to fame is I worked on the first human gene therapy project. And I really, really enjoyed that. And those boys that we helped are I am guessing they might be in their they're in their 30s now. So, and they may not have even lived beyond 1 year if we didn't do the research that we did. So many of those babies would have died within the first year. So I think that Protandim is an amazing product. We're not allowed to say that it cures or mitigates, prevents any disease process, but here's what happens. So literally, one of my favorite verses from the Bible tells us that we are coming from Psalms 139. It says that we are wonderfully created, and our bodies basically have the information to keep us as healthy as possible. But as we age, a lot of things stop getting produced. So, or we're losing the production. And one of the examples is collagen. You might know that. So, since we're making less collagen, we wind up getting wrinkles. So, different things like that. But we can actually do something called activate the body, which means that we're working at that DNA level so that those genes are turned on like they were turned on when we were younger. So, activation is way different than supplementation. So, supplementing, you're taking something from the outside to fill a void on the inside. For example, especially in the wintertime, we may be deficient in vitamin D because we're not outside in the sun as often. And so we might want to take a vitamin D supplement. And it makes sense that we can supplement, but a lot of the supplements that are out there, they're not even getting absorbed in our bodies. And if they are getting absorbed, we're just peeing them out. And so literally we're paying for expensive urine. And there are cases in which there's no absorption at all, and it's coming out the other end. So it's coming out as if it was a waste product. So spending money on supplements, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some supplements that are great. But for the most part, like if you're taking vitamins and minerals at the same time, they combat one another. So you're probably just paying for expensive pee, like I said. So supplementing isn't the best way to get your health back. But actually activating your body, you can't overactivate. You can over supplement, which means that you can actually make yourself sick if you take too much vitamin D, etc. But you can't overactivate your body. So your body knows how much of a good thing it needs, and it'll make it until it's reached the maximum level it should make. And so it's not going to overproduce. So, like I said, we are wonderfully created. There's a lot of other scriptures that are out there that, you know, just tells that our body is a temple. And so we should treat it that way. We should treat it with the utmost respect and try to keep ourselves as healthy as possible. How can we stay in work for Jehovah if we're not feeling well? Okay, so literally, if we want to be the best that we can be, and I'm not, you know, the best version of ourselves, we want to be as healthy as possible. And Protandim, for me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, I didn't think it was going to do all the good things that it does. Like I didn't even want to take it when I first heard about it. But after actually seeing how it changed the life of my dad who had prostate cancer, I said I need to take it myself. And, you know, I felt so healthy already. I wouldn't say I was at the 100th percentile for healthy in the nation, but I would say somewhere between 85 and 95, maybe. And so I knew that I was healthier than most. But now I feel like I'm in the 99th percentile because even though I'm going through some personal things right now, I have some tick-borne diseases. I literally don't think I'd be getting out of bed if my body was not activated. So I'm still able to, I did carts earlier this week and just came back from a Bible study, so I would not be able to do those things if I was not activated. So I hope you don't stay sitting on on the fence, because Jehovah wants you to take care of your body. And if you start getting activated, you will feel so much better. You'll be able to give Jehovah better service. And what does that bring to us? That brings us joy, doesn't it? So knowing that we're doing something that Jehovah approves of. So I really hope that you will give Protandim a try. All right, have a great day. Bye.